What's going on, guys? It's Hector here with Vapin Lasers and Landmark Wholesales, and today I got something a little bit different that might kind of change the game maybe in certain ways, but you'll see what I'm talking about once we see this up close and a little more personal. And what I'm talking about is the Cubis tank. Alright, so the Cubis tank has some unique features that we'll discuss, but let me just leave it at that and say that it's really unique. Really unique. It kind of even changes the top fill game a little bit. But enough of that. Let's go down close and check the device out a little further. So this is the box that comes in, the Cubis. Right there, it says innovative and leak resistant cup design. So that's really cool. Right here on the side it says Joyetech. Moving on to the legs, Cubis atomizer, and in the back, as always, you get some information. You can pause the video and read that. Let's open her up and see what's inside. Once you open her up, you're gonna have this little card of attention telling you how to kind of fill it up and whatnot. You get a warranty card. And then you get your goodies. Alright, so this is what you get in there. You get this sort of a acrylic, kind of like plasticky acrylic tip. You get this little box with extra coils. All your coil, the tank itself comes with no coils installed. I just have one installed, but it brings you all the coils will be in there. And I opened them all just to check them out. So you get a 0.1 SS316, so you can run this on stainless steel. Then you get a Clapton one as well, and this one's just regular, kind of like Cantha wire or Nikon, whatever they're using, and it's a 1.5 ohm. Then you get this little thing right here that I haven't figured out what it is for, and I apologize about that, but I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of this is. If you know, please let me know. Here is the tank section. Really nice and pristine looking tank. You can see I got the 0.5 coil head right there. Nice little glass. Right there it says Cubis, if you can see it right here. But on the bottom says Joyetech right there. And right there, you see that? It says max. That's where you're gonna fill up your juice to and then put in your coil with your top cap. Obviously this device is 60 millimeters in height, obviously a 22 millimeter in diameter. The drip tip that it has here is insulated with Dell ring. Hopefully you guys can see this real good. Insulated with Dell ring. The drip tip itself is 16 millimeters in height and 11.5 from side to side, top to like this way. Has two O-rings. The device itself has a fixed pin, non-adjustable. Alright, so you got your 510 threads as well. But now let's break it down and check out it a little closer. So right here, this is where your 510 goes in through, right here on the top. It's kind of like the inner shaft where your vapor comes through. This is right through here. That portion slides through here, sticks out through that end right there, and that's how you attach it to it. The airflow is under this. If I can get this off, that's where your invisible kind of airflow comes through. This is your tank portion. So you can see you just literally just fill up right through there. Just drop it in there and it fills up. Then you hit it to that little max line right there, and then you slap your coil in there with your top cap and you're ready to go. This is a closer look to the a 0.5 coil head. That's a little mesh there, and that's the pin that makes contact in the bottom like so. See, it's kind of like magnetic sorta. It sticks in there. But enough of that. Let's wrap this up, go up top, fill it up, and vape on it. Alright, right now let's do our cloud testing portion like we always do. We're gonna go ahead and build some clouds and see how it performs. I'll have these things sitting at 25 watts, and I had the 0.5 ohm coil head in here, 25 watts. Let's check it out. Good flavor in my opinion. Could get better flavor out of it. I looked up in the Joyetech website and I couldn't find what kind of wick they use in there, what kind of kind they use in there. But I'm assuming that plays a little bit. I got a tangerine flavor in there. Usually I get a stronger flavor of it. I can still taste it here pretty good, but not to the point where I have used it with other devices, or when I use my regular, like when I use an RTA or something like that, or one of the other tanks, I'm not getting that full on flavor. I am still getting it, just not as well, but again, different wicks give you different flavors. Get that kind of like almost sort of restricted, like even though it's open and a fully open airflow, you get a taste of a restricted, like kind of like vape. I'm assuming this tank is more for those people that are trying to get off of those, like, you know, pro tanks and cartomizers, and like, you know, kind of like the beginner really tight draw vape. But let's just bump it up to 35 and see how it goes once I put actually 30, because the coil says recommended wattage is 30, so let's keep it at 30. Let's check it out. I was taking about 3-second hits. Towards the end it got a little bit dry. It's a small coil, so, but it wasn't like dry burnt. It was just from the first one to the third one, it just I felt a different, like it needed to wake up again. But still, same thing. I get flavor. The flavor got a little bit better, but again, you don't want to push the coil too far out. Put at 30 watts, you're already pushing it because they recommend that it's 30. So if you put it any higher, yes, you're gonna get better flavor, but again, you're gonna run the risk of getting dry hits, the coil head going bad faster than what it should, and all that stuff that comes with pushing a lot of power through something that is not recommended for that amount of power. Like I said, I mentioned already, great flavor, great airflow. It's just, it gives you that feeling of not that fully open airy draw, more of a little more restricted draw, which I don't mind honestly, because most of my devices, even if I'm running at 80, 90 watts, 100 watts, I always have them sort of closed down a little bit. So I think now we're sort of ready to go to the pros and cons and talk about those further. Alright, so I got two. One subjective con and one just a con that I believe is a real con. Subjective, when you take the tip out, you get that lip there, and I mean, if you're gonna put another drip tip, you know, drip tip comes in variation of sizes and widths and all that stuff. So your tip might look a little weird on it just because of that lip on there, and again, that's just a subjective one. A con that I believe it's a real con is the coil head. Usually our normal 0.5 coil heads tend to be a little more airy. Like I understand the 1.0 being tighter, and then the 1.5 Clapton being tight, because it's such it's not really like sub ohm anymore, it's just like 1 ohm. Those are okay, but for a 0.5, I believe it should have made it a little bigger of a coil head, like as in the diameter of the coil, so you can have better airflow come through for us that like the little bit airier at that 0.5. But again, it is also just my opinion on it, and you know, I don't know Joyetech, but that might be their whole point behind it, making a tank that's more aimed towards the people that like the tighter draws and the mouth to lungs and the long hits and stuff like that. But from my point of perspective, I don't know. So from my point, like I believe the 0.5 should have been a little bigger in diameter, so you can get a little better circulation of air for kind of like my style of vaping, where I don't like it too airy but not extremely kind of like restricted. I just like it kind of more in the airy side, but still with that restriction in there. For the pros, that new style is awesome. I mean, like you see in the close-ups, you know, cap it from the top and then slide it in there and it makes connection.
that's awesome. I think that's a really nice, cool little technology that they're bringing in the game now. Also, the fact that even changes like the, yes, there's top air fill devices out there, but this is, you get a hole. You can literally just tilt your bottle to the max line and fill it up, and it makes it so much easier. I just think it's really cool. Um, Another thing is the tip that it brings. It's kind of like, more like a metal, but it doesn't get hot because the bottom is all kind of like I always mess up that word, dull ring. So it helps it with staying cool. Plus, that shaft section right there that I said it was a subjective con, kind of helps it as well because it's kind of separating the top of the tank from the tip a little bit with having to screw on it. And I love that style airflow, like the Tron Evic VTC Mini, the Tron tank that comes with the Evic, how that like turning top airflow, like kind of like invisible airflow. I love that. That's one of my favorites to use. And also the fact that I might not use the 1 ohm and the 1.5 ohm core head, but it brings 3 core heads. That's always great. And also the tip, the extra tip that it brings you, just in case you want to use that one, don't want to use the metal one. It brings you kind of like a acrylic style one. And one thing that I noticed was this thing right here. I'm not putting it in the pros. I just kind of didn't figure out what it was for. I watched a few reviews and nobody really used it, so I'm not positive what this is exactly meant for. But you tell me in the comments and you find out. So enough of that. I want to thank you guys for watching the video. I know this video was with a device that wasn't really up my alley a little bit, but it's a good device. I'll say that right off the bat, it's a really good device. If Joyetech is doing what I believe they're doing with kind of aiming this towards the more restricted style vapors, mouth to lungs and lung hitters, they did an excellent job with it, to be honest. Like I said, I'm not that kind of vapor, but again, I can't speak from my point of perspective. I gotta look at the bigger picture, and I like it. I mean, the tank itself looks really nice. It was really classy, really nice and pristine tank. Like, it's just simple yet elegant. That's what I'm trying to aim at. Simple yet elegant, because it's just simplicity, but it looks nice and it looks well built, well manufactured. All of that good stuff. It looks really nice. It's almost like an attractive tank, for lack of better words, and don't judge. But yeah, I can see what they're aiming here for. In my opinion, I believe they're aiming for the kind of like the people that like the more restricted vapes, and they did a great job in bringing in that new technology with the coil and touching. That was outstanding. But that was it for this video, guys. I want to thank Vaping Lizards and Landmark Wholesales for having me here and doing this review. And until next time, vape safe.